سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Y'all, infidels, time to kick it off. Monday freestyle because my bitch got so much ass. Looks like 218s. She called me Big Daddy. It's been Hamin back in the house waiting for RBV as we kick it off. MLR, HMG, infidels, channelattitude.com. Y'all. What's hood? What's good, y'all? What's going on, man? I was talking with RBV. Had to take the nephew over to the school, the academy, the madrasa, and we had a little construction on the way back. So we'll see if he runs in. If not, I'm glad to be back with you guys. Solo on the dolo. Big day here at HMG. Always got to record SmackDown review with Stevie Richards and then Master Shoot Theater with Vince Russo and Young Writer. Or Ducey and Young Writer, I should say. But always a good day creatively here. Just a lot to get through. So we're going to get right to it. But hopefully you had a good weekend. I know I did. GGP heels over strong with the help of Vicky Guerrero and my man Blaze Haram over strong, retaining his title. You can suspend me. You can try and suspend me from Immortal Championship Wrestling more on Mike King, but my plans are always greater than yours, Infidel, always. So thanks to Vicky Guerrero for carrying out what needed to be done. There's no way they'll end around us, Vicky, baby. All my love to you. So, it was a good time over there at Immortal, but I was at a family wedding. Thankfully, Obama didn't drone bomb us, and we had a good time all together. You always got to be wary of incoming. So, but it was in the state's capital in Albany, downtown. So, a great event, man. Big shout out to my buddies who got married out there, and it was just good seeing the whole tribe together. Hopefully, you guys had some fun this weekend as well. It was good to see my old man, the Emperor, after he had murdered his latest deer, and he had all the stories that way. So he was riding high on his horse, and it was good to see him shining, man. And I didn't watch any football. I guess Giants are on the night, so we'll have that split between Raw and hopefully, I don't know. It's so hit or miss this year, but it's like the last 7 years there is no hope. So football really isn't going crazy for me. I was kind of rooting for the Bills because other people in my family like them, but I saw they got smashed by Indiana yesterday. So I feel like I didn't miss anything, and I'm back at it. And then we had Survivor Series last night. So from SmackDown to weddings, back to Survivor Series, it's been quite a run this weekend for old Hacker. And man, I mean, there were some good matches, some terrible matches last night. It's just crazy on both shows how there's such a mix of people who are at the top of the game in this shit, and then people who shouldn't even be on TV. And that goes for both companies. So you could say almost every company, I guess, but of what's left. But yeah, man, like last night, and I'm sure as soon as I saw it, I was so pumped up because it was so bad and it's so stupid. Well, The Rock's new movie dropped on Netflix and is number one. And it's just a total pile of shit. I tried to watch 13 minutes of it, and it's a 1980s paint by number, like product placement, stupid line, like same fight choreography you've seen in 70 different fucking movies. It's bad. It's a huge pile of shit. And it was number one on Netflix. And so Vince, he's number one on Netflix. I've got a goddamn my biography's coming out on Netflix too. So, dude, here he shows up with the egg, and everyone's waiting around. You think it's gonna be The Rock showing up there because of the buzz online with him and Roman or whatever. Out walks Vince with 15 people who could possibly be fired at any moment in the background clapping for him, and as he shows the egg, the prop egg from the fucking Cleopatra's egg from this stupid ass movie Red Notice. And it's just it is bad. and they're they're all clapping, and he struts off with it. And then there was I think 2 more scenes in the in the show where he's like running down production people, and somebody stole it. It could be Brooklyn. We are in Brooklyn. It was bad, bro. It was it was as bad as Wrestle Crap can be, but for that, I'm eternally thankful. I love Wrestle Crap. And when it's done right, that's like cringe worthy, some of that. But we'll we'll cover that on Master Shoot Theater, I'm sure, man. Fucking that stuff is too good. Like how do they not know how bad? I mean, they know it's bad, but like, ugh. And like I thought at the end they were really going to cheese it up and have the gobbledygooker steal it, which they very well might tonight. But Corey Graves made a joke about bringing eggs to Thanksgiving. What could go wrong? Wink. Like, ugh. But I do got to put over Corey Graves' jacket. I like that suit coat he had on last night. But y'all, man. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Going live here this morning, twitch.tv/Hamin Media, and at where else are we? Ben Hamin YouTube channel, I believe, as well. I think I got like 1,400 new subs in the last like month and a half. So wherever you're watching us, if you probably got subscribed because the bra and panties match got suggested. So shout out to Malaysia, all my Pacific Islanders who are watching, those in sexually repressed Yemen and other places like that who are watching Josie versus Melody bra and panties match, dude. Worldwide in India, that match is fucking gets mad views. So if you're joining us here, welcome to Hamin Media Group. Shabbat Shalom, Ni Hao, whatever the fuck it is you want. Let's get a couple headlines, see if RBV shows up, and we'll get some talk going. If not, that's fine, because Russo can go early today. So I'd love to get some work done early and get an hour ahead taken out of my schedule. That'd be phenomenal. But let's see here. Darby Allin, you might have heard of him on AEW talent taking a back seat to new stars. He says, quote, "Your game isn't on point then." Ooh. AEW's Darby Allin recently caught up with Bleacher Report, talking about some highs and lows he experienced during his time in AEW. Arby's. Who wants Arby's? Arguably Darby. That's a funny thing to say. It got me with Arby's. Arguably Darby's biggest match so far in AEW was his all-out pay-per-view against Punk. Despite coming up short and being able to secure a victory, some pro wrestling world, including Shivani, believe this match may ultimately have elevated Darby as a performer. Well, I fucking hope so. That's the purpose of why you put him in there. Both outside of the ring, Darby admitted in and outside the ring, Darby's a fan of the best in the world because of how he carries himself. Whoa. That made me laugh. I like the way he doesn't talk to a lot of people, because I don't either. I like letting people into your personal space. It's very important. That's weird. Give it a little time, bro. Well, he'll probably accept him into the cool kids club right away. So, though many may find it intimidating or unfair as a homegrown AEW talent, Darby is the opposite end of the spectrum. He sees new competition as new opportunities, and if those stars arrive, push you down out of the spotlight, he thinks that's more of a personal challenge. He says, "I feel great about it. It should make you step up and want to improve your game. If you're not willing to step up, your game isn't on point then." Darby returned to action this past Friday night on AEW Rampage, where he defeated Billy Gunn in a singles match. There's no word who or when he'll step in the ring next with the Reckless Devil. Dangerous, playing with fire here with these kind of statements. I don't see any good coming of it. Like calling out, you're a guy who's been, put in the spotlight on AEW. You've been given Sting as your mentor to help you shine, to get you over. Otherwise, you wouldn't be nearly as over as you are. And then, because of that, you're the hot little young. I think there's only probably 3 stars that AEW's really made. 4: Britt Baker, Darby Allin, MJF, and Sammy Guevara. Those are about the 4 that are original, and maybe Hangman, but he was ROH. And those WWE guys are coming. And what happens? Like, I got to believe they put him with a Bray Wyatt or somebody. But what happens when the day comes and you're pushed out? And the other part of that is, too, Darby does all this crazy shit, and he's cool, and he's young, and skateboard, and I like all that. But he has no ability to cut the promo and connect. His words aren't echoing the coolness of what his persona is, you know. So it's all right to be quiet and whatnot. And the other part with Punk, like, Punk is quiet for a reason sometimes. Maybe not. I mean, the guy's changed in 15 years, I'm sure, since I fucking hung out with him. But there's other people I would model myself in my behavior after, but maybe I wouldn't, because if I was him, because Punk's super rich and famous and I'm doing wrestling podcasts and working indie shows. But I don't know, man. I think Darby's got a lot to work on when it comes to character wise and connecting. And then when you, this could be taken out of context like any stupid fucking thing, but when you say like, hey, step up your game or get the fuck out of the way, there's just so much you can do, because you might not be given the creative that Darby has to step up your game. If you're just in a shitty 6-man where you got a job out to fucking Hardy Party or whatever the fuck, what are you supposed to do to get a spotlight on you that makes something like of you? Now you can go into business for yourself, and maybe AEW is the place to do that, because if you did it in WWE, they'd cut your fucking throat in a second. But maybe if you're in a shitty 6, now you should heed that advice. He might not be wrong, and start thinking of what's your gimmick going to be to connect with the audience in the match, because these guys are coming. And if you don't fucking make yourself a property, if you don't make yourself a part of the show that has got to be in there, like the whatever spot, you know what I mean? The flash fun, the I don't even give a shit if it's the run out and do the fucking No Way Jose spot, but you got to come up with something to make sure that you're on the card, because their roster is already so overbloated. There's 30 people getting paid that we don't even see on. Maybe you see them on Dark Elevation. I don't watch that shit, and I don't watch Dark, and I barely watch Rampage. So people are going to get pushed out, and you should start thinking about going into business for yourself a little bit. You don't want to hurt everybody else in the match, but that's something that's going to need to happen. Otherwise, you are going to be 86th out of here. Interesting, but I'd like to see him work on his promos and charisma and character before he starts kind of pointing fingers, because he's been given a lot. Not that he hasn't delivered, but he's been given a lot in the way of spotlight, push, and fucking the rub, you know. So that's something that he's got to just be mindful of, and not let it go to your head. But in the wrestling bubble, anything can fucking happen. But I like the skateboarding shit. I'm a mark for it. I think it's cool. Oh, Stevie Richards in the chat this morning. Affiliate models don't need where we're going. We don't need writers. Cough. Man. Boom. Let's see. Why there was reportedly a minor freakout backstage at AEW Survivor Series. There were reportedly concerns over timing issues at Sunday's pay-per-view. Interesting. You may have noticed how things seem rushed toward the ends of the Survivor Series. Yeah, I was saying that. PW Insider via Mike Johnson via Pat Buck reports that there was some worry as what was being described as a minor freak out backstage. Freak out. During the main event between WWE Big E, or WWE Champ Big E, and the winner, Roman Reigns, the Universal Champ, as officials were concerned about running out of time for the show. What do you mean running out of time? You're on Peacock. Like, you're not on pay-per-view. What the fuck? Like, Peacock's is gonna pull the plug on you? Okay. The pay-per-view was scheduled to go off the air no later than 11:35 p.m. Eastern time, and still had the main event to go. WWE ended up several minutes left, but in that moment when there was a concern backstage, there were people wondering why so much time was given to entrances for the men's 5-on-5 traditional elimination match. On a related note, one source stated the Survivor Series match order ended up that way happening was locked in weeks ago. However, there were members of production who had the entire show blocked out in reverse earlier on Sunday afternoon. It was reported on Sunday evening the plan as the afternoon was for Big E versus Roman Reigns to open the show, while the women's match between SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and the winner Raw Women's Champ Becky Lynch would close the show. A late change was made in the evening with the 2 matches getting switched. Wow. Girls went from the main event to the opener, huh? That's it. That's an interesting political move. There was nothing of note that happened after Survivor Series went off the air. Reigns and Heyman went back to the back, and Big E soon followed. So everybody's waiting for a fucking The Rock confrontation because they've been hyping it, and you don't get shit. All you get from The Rock is this fucking egg, and the reference of it in a 25-year Survivor Series, 2 of them recap packages. Dude, are they going to pull the trigger on Roman and The Rock? Because all they needed was a 60-second pre-tape of The Rock after Roman wins and he's in the ring, and fucking we get that back and forth to carry over tonight on Raw. And he even could have heated on Vince for somebody stealing the egg and that he's going to come find it and we're going to have a red notice. I'm coming to Raw. It's a red notice if you smell what the fuck I'm cooking here. So just small things that would have been big details to get people talking. Instead, they just walked to the fucking back after the win, after setting up Rock stuff all night long. Like, classic WWE. What are you going to do? Repo Man took the egg. Yeah, maybe Nick Khan sold it. Who knows? Yeah, they save The Rock for Raw, but you got to fucking, what is it to have him record a 60-second cameo that puts over the business? Absolutely would have done it, dude. Eggs and pizza. That was last night's the whole thing. Stevie, I don't know if you're working out or not. Well, I do know if you're working out because that's all you do, really. So, but I will send you StreamYard. And if you feel that you'd like to join, I mean, we've got a long day together already. So I know a lot of me can make you sick of me. I get sick of myself. But yeah, let's see here. What else is going down? Bret Hart, you might have heard of him. He refused to shake people's hands. No, Bret Hart was spotted with top AEW stars. Interesting because this is something AEW does, and maybe it's Khan, maybe it's them inside thinking about it. But when Punk was coming, they'd wear like these little secret Easter eggs. Yeah. Okay. No worries, Stevie. Don't worry about it, man. Good luck on that call, dude. Thank you. But he wore the Cookie Monster shirt Omega did for CM Punk, and I think there was like another one thing that was like, ooh, if you go back, he was dropping breadcrumbs all along the trail to follow, and like, okay. But we seen the Bucks in pink and black last week. Serena's got Hitman gear. And then somebody else was wearing pink and black too. And I think, the girls tag team was, what the hell's my water? Ty Conti and them too. So everybody's wearing pink and black. Maybe there was just a sale on that Lycra in Florida, but here we are with Bret Hart posing with, top AEW people. There's a picture with Kenny Omega and Britt Baker. So Caster and Bowens was wearing pink and black. You don't need Brett's email. Just go up and give him a handshake. It'll be good. But is Hitman on the way? I gotta believe so. If they're putting over that Owen Hart charity, you gotta believe Brett's gonna come in and do something special guest wise for that. And welcome to being a worker with all those mentors. Who's he gonna tie himself to? And then clock a paycheck from Uncle Tony as well, especially with the Owen thing, so that'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Worker's gonna work. Hit Row reveals recent WWE plans, talks getting released. Yeah, dude, what a crazy week last week. I mean, even though there might be higher properties like a John Morrison or a Taya Valkyrie money-wise that could be, I think this is the most ridiculous thing we've seen in investing in 4 talents, getting them over in developmental, drafting them, 3 weeks later firing one of them for no real reason. That otherwise we heard that Vince saw one of her matches and she was rotten. Okay, she's developmental. What do you want? Fire her, fuck up the stage picture, then act like nothing's wrong, and then fire the rest of them. And then I also heard that big man AJ Francis might have had heat too. And I heard that back when I watched those shows, some of those treasure hunting clips on YouTube. I think it's all right, but then I just watched the Kane and Undertaker one where he offers Kane like $2,000 for the original mask, and Taker is so fucking insulted. Like, you're fucking kidding me, right? You're like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, bro. And like, I think that was one of the earlier ones, but like they just saw the mark in him a little bit, or he didn't know how to act around the boys. Nobody smartened him up. And they probably did it on purpose to fucking either let him bury himself or to laugh at it that he fucking doesn't know, you know? So it was weird, dude. But there was like to bring them up and then cut them that quickly. There's got to be a bigger story in the heat more than like this guy's a mark for himself and the girl sucked. Like, okay, like, but there's 4 of them and only one guy needs to work, and that's Isaiah Swerve Scott, and the motherfucker is awesome. Like, you know, but then again, go be awesome in the ring. And how well did that work out for Ricochet? How well did that work out for Baylor and these guys? You know, like, you got to get over with character. So now we're giving them character, but we don't even give them time to get it over or use it for what it should be, the conduit to the music industry. You were just at that big ass concert this spring that you wanted to fucking get into hip hop with. You got Bad Bunny. You had Cardi B, and until she got pregnant, fucking dude, why wouldn't you want to get back into that Migos and that hip hop fucking world and bring those people in, man? They have so many IG followers. Just them alone cutting a little promo on IG is going to get a whole ton of people to fucking tune in that normally wouldn't watch your shitty show. So the cutting a Hit Row, even though they might not be the most seasoned talent, is probably the biggest loss for opportunity and like crossover, in my opinion, dude. You know, and to fire shots back and forth at AEW, which they were, and maybe that's what got him heat too, because he was tweeting at the Bucks about the culture or some shit. I don't know, about fucking Jordans or some dumb thing. But you know, the facts that they got Caster and the Acclaimed over there, dude, that's what you do. You like, they should be going back and forth via social media with diss tracks and fucking and diss tweets and make it very hip hop and bring this shit into the 20th century. I don't know about 21st, but like, you know, take it back to something street beef wise, and people will talk. They just cut all that off, bro. They just cut all that shit. You know, but does WWE even realize what they had there and the ability to do it? But when they got a Bad Bunny, I'm saying to myself, how could you not? How the fuck could you not, man? But Hit Row members Top Dollar and the Adonis. I don't know much about that guy. Tahuti Miles, I think, is his shoot name. That's what it says here anyway. Along with Isaiah Swerve Scott, aka Killshot, who, when asked about how the releases happen, Adonis said plans for this week's SmackDown Survivor Series and Raw changed numerous times before getting the call from John Laurinaitis. Hey guys, Thursday morning was a little weird because we were booked for SmackDown Survivor Series and Raw, and then we were unbooked. They booked us again, and then we were unbooked. So I'm like, okay, this is what goes on in WWE. There's a lot of things to figure out. I was like, oh, okay, maybe we'll have something for us and we'll fly out Saturday or something like that. I remember watching Thursday Night Football and I missed the call from John Laurinaitis. I called him back. He told me budget cuts and stuff like that. And I was like, thank you. It is what it is. Budget cuts. You guys got $100 million egg. Budget cuts. Okay. Capital One ad. No, thank you. It's blocking off a bunch of the text, so I don't really give a fuck. Francis continued. He knew that they were going to be released after WWE unbooked them and noted the same thing happened when BFAB was let go earlier this month. The group was scheduled to do a Black Friday commercial. Oof. Wow. Not that they can't do a Black Friday commercial with everybody else if you put Seth and Shinsuke or whoever in. But you can't put the black guys in the Black Friday commercial solo. I guess you can, but like that just read funny to me. Was scheduled to do the Black Friday commercial without her shortly after she was released. AJ Francis also commented on his deleted diss track after receiving backlash on social media. Francis said Jinder himself was involved in the process and loved the song. Yeah, dude, that was the other thing, right? Like, so this guy does his gimmick, and then the diss track, which was probably went at a little bit of Indian culture, somebody fucking says one little cancellation thing and he pulls it. So tweet apologize, dive, repeat.
No bread, no water, just meat.
It's unfortunate the way things shaped out, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell anybody not to watch WWE again. I'm not telling nobody to never watch WWE again. Well, I'm going to watch WWE. I'm not pretending that I'm not. I watch everything else, but also that's not the end all be all. That's not where we have to be successful. We're more than capable of going anywhere in this world and making the same impact. Yeah, man. I mean, there's money there on that gimmick and the hip hop world shit. Absolutely. And I was thinking about this, like, what is a new day? What does a new Fed look like and who runs it? You know, if it's not, are we going to find the next billionaire Mark wrestling fan who wants to go in on it? Is it Triller? Is it Jake Paul and them and Logan Paul doing something on a smaller scale with Wale? I don't know. But I think the hip hop way in is very smart. And these guys could definitely be that. And there's a lot of other acts that you could cross over with music as well as celebrity and it, like that Instagram lifestyle, and have in like not a low budget ECW. It has to have some budget, but it would be cool in the underground. And the guys and girls with all these cuts are there to make something very special and very young and not run by a mark, hopefully completely, or a megalomaniac corporate entity. But aside from that, it's got to be like an Amazon or an Apple or a Disney that's willing to invest and either buy a show that's established. But I don't see many indies out there that kind of fit the mold of what I'm talking about. I haven't worked for Hood Slam. I just like that name, but I know they're kind of on that a little bit. So we'll see whatever the frig. No problem. Sorry, just text rolling in here. But yeah, dude, those guys could be the real catalyst. It just still confounds me of you had something so in the pocket of young and cool and you water it down. And this is the Acclaimed and this is Hit Row and everything else, bro. They water it down, you know, and shit all over it. And then they're like, why isn't this working? Well, you're clipped their wings. How are they supposed to fly? You know, so I just think that these guys aren't going to be able to get hired altogether. Like, yeah, it looks good, but unless you go on the indies as Hit Row and establish yourself, that means you got to have an indie that's going to book all for you. You all got to get flights. That's a tough call, man. Big Man's got money written on him. So does Swerve Scott, but I think Hit Row is done as a fucking crew, to be honest with you. Not that this is even on the same thing, but it's very similar in the embarrassment and PR level, even though it was more on the guy, but like a Lars Sullivan. You see this guy, he gets over in NXT as a psycho. You bring him up, all the bullshit comes out with the gay porn and the Mark Sheet stuff from bodybuilding.com where he's talking shit about Steph and whatever, like any wrestling fan does. And then they send him to fucking anger management therapy or depression therapy or whatever the fuck it was. And then they play that out on TV and fire the guy. Like, okay, no return. Like there's money written on him, but nobody's going to we invested all this time. We trained him to be how we want it for TV. Looks great, but because of this fucking little heat or whatever, boop, you're gone, you know? So I just can't imagine investing all that time into something and then fucking just not reaping any of the benefits from it. So oh, TK, Tony Khan says wrestlers going to WWE aren't signing a quote real contract. That's interesting. Khan spoke with Busted Open yesterday and commented on wrestlers deciding to go to WWE. As we've seen this past year, over 80 superstars have made their departure from WWE. I wouldn't say made their departure, they were fucking fired. For the AEW president, he doesn't see a WWE as a destination that actually contracts they hold on to. It's a temporary arrangement. He said, quote, anybody who signs a contract in WWE these days is not signing a real contract, in my opinion. Tony Khan said after the last round of cuts, it's a temporary arrangement. People who come wrestle with me, a lot of these people are frankly lifers, and they know that. There are some people who are here and work really hard. There are some people who come in and work more than really hard. I feel like there is actual life and will be with me for the rest of my life. Wow. And I don't know if everybody who works for my competition can say that. I think there are people who work there and they aren't even sure that it's going to be there next week. Well, everybody should be thinking that constantly. This is wrestling. There's a lot more security with a contract here. I can't say I'm going to extend every contract or bring every person back, but I also, through the last couple of years, have not been doing mass layoffs until you have to. Yeah, but why can't you pay Dylan Bostic the $240 he was owed? You know, even though I'm not the most profitable company of all time, I don't brag about being the most profitable company of all time. I do brag about bringing in a lot of different revenue for a startup and a real success story. What I will brag about is that we haven't been doing mass layoffs and we haven't fired 15 people last week or 18 people the week before that. It's not anything to be proud of when the company lets all those people go and you're putting press releases out like that frequently. I don't think it's a good thing. I guess, man. TK saying the obvious here, but again, you're setting yourself up to be a hypocrite because you're gonna have to fucking let some of these people go unless you're just willing to like give daddy's money away to keep them on the sideline. Like, what are you paying Sonny Kiss for? You know, what are you paying fucking Marco Stunt to do? Because he wasn't in the picture this past week with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Christian. He wasn't in the pre-tape. You know, maybe he's got something going on and hopefully it isn't anything bad, you know, injury or something at home, you know, but like all of these people they got on the roster, man, they're going to have to cut some. And then even the legends who are just kind of sitting around collecting a check, their checks aren't small. You don't sign those guys for small $240 appearances. You sign those guys for $3,000 plus a flight, plus a hotel. And what are you really getting out of it, you know? So like, again, you're just setting yourself up to have to become the thing you say that you're not going to be. You know, you just can't put that shit over. And there will be a time where he has to lay off. And I think a minimum of 30 people, a minimum. Yeah, I don't know. TN Couponer, I don't know if they're doing pay per appearance. I know a lot of people got deals like kind of like $100,000 to $120,000 kickoff deals, man. Some people less, some people like 70. But you know, that's the weirdness of it. All right, here's one for the history buffs. John Cena says Randy Orton's WWE pay-per-view record is mythical, quote unquote. John Cena gave his thoughts about Randy Orton breaking the record for most WWE pay-per-view appearances tonight at Survivor Series. Orton is set to surpass Kane. My God, to stand alone at the top with 177 pay-per-view matches. Wow, that is unbelievable. He'll be teaming up with fellow Raw Tag Team Champion against Riddle and the SmackDown Tag Champs, the Usos. Says, quote, tonight's Survivor Series achievement by Randy Orton is nothing short of mythical. Cena wrote, I hope at WWE Superstars and WWE Universe understand just how incredible it is. A milestone I'll never reach and always admire. So proud of you, Randy. Thank you for the inspiration. Hashtag respect. Keeping with the theme of stats, according to Wrestling Data, Randy Orton has been in the ring the most with John Cena at 267 matches, including developmental and house shows. Most recently, the two were in the ring together in the 2018 Royal Rumble. I've never been one to keep records throughout my career. Early on, it was laughable and to consider in my profession that you had wins and losses. You certainly wouldn't talk about it with now they give trophies for 50 wins with the boys, much less the fans. But I'm fortunate to have some fans and friends that have done just that. And I keep my stats, not just wins and loss, but damn near everything you could think of. It came to my attention that tomorrow at Survivor Series, I'll set a new record for most pay-per-view matches by anyone in history of WWE. The following night on Raw, coincidentally, if I have a match, I'll have had more matches on Raw than anyone in history. I saw this online, checked it, and it's true. Kind of hard to believe as it feels like I only started down in OVW yesterday. Well, that's Rip saying, Randy, you fat bastard. And like, that's always in your fucking head. he does irreversible damage. I just want to take a minute in light of those stats and let everyone out there that's ever supported me in any way know that I'm thankful. I also know with all of my heart that I couldn't have done it without you. Now on to my 15th Survivor Series. Man, time flies, doesn't it? Wow, a huge, milestone to be able to hold a record like that. Very feels like very Cal Ripken. You know what I mean? I like that for him. And I was they had me last night during that match. I thought it was going to be heels up, and then they did the falsie after they hit Riddle with the double kick while he's on his knees, and I was like, I wonder if they did that to Barry, because Bucks and them do that with the V trigger on the ground, even though it's knee versus kick, and then had him kick out to bury it. Like, that was interesting to me. Not bury it because the kick out was good, the back bridge. But then Randy comes in out of nowhere and hits the cutter while they're hitting the splash on Riddle. So Riddle takes a splash, and Jimmy takes takes the cutter. And that it was good. It was a good finish with Randy up, and the crowd popped big. I felt bad in that match because they worked their ass off telling the story about the tag and cutting Riddle off, working all that heat on him. And then the hot tag came, and the crowd was just kind of like, yeah, big fucking deal, hot tag, bro. They did a good job in that match. That was, I don't know. The finish was really good, and they were up for that. But in the middle of the match, they didn't have them. Come on, New York City. Let's see. It's the Raw preview for tonight, man. Maybe we'll take it home a little early here. I got plenty to do. Raw preview for tonight, Survivor Series Fallout, Cleopatra's Golden Egg, and more. Tonight, WWE Raw will take place in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York City, with Fallout from Sunday's Survivor Series pay-per-view. WWE has not announced any matches for tonight's Raw, but there'll be more on the storyline for Cleopatra's $100 million golden egg, which somebody stole from WWE chairman and CEO Vince McMahon at the pay-per-view last night. Vince said he was gifted the egg by The Rock after it featured his new Red Notice movie, which I thought was a phenomenal film. Raw and SmackDown locker rooms are set to be at tonight's show as Adam Pearce tries to figure out who stole the egg. So we're getting an old-fashioned whodunit on Raw, and the boys, we're going to have a fucking full locker room as Pearce goes through, because I'm sure the person who stole it last night would just keep it in their bag so you could find it the next night. What the fuck is going on? Survivor Series Fallout will include follow-up to Owens walking out on Raw. Yeah, that was an interesting thing with him and Seth going back and forth last night in the ring about who's going to start. And then he just rolls out and fucking takes the 10-count powders. I'm like, easy payday for Kevin Owens. So that either means they really wanted that heat or he's hurt and something's going on and they needed to protect him. And if they did, that was a good way to do it, because it got heat to kick them off and put them in a disadvantage right out of the gate. So, man, yeah. And then Becky Lynch will be appearing to celebrate her win over Charlotte. Yeah, man, there was here's the thing with that. Everything that's been going on, I think, with Rick and all that, like we've been reporting on it, but I haven't bitten on that fully. And I think these girls did a big work shoot. I think they got together, concocted a lot of the heat for the dirt sheets and whatnot. And because the way they were working last night, where it was supposed to be the shoot side, was just slaps in the face. It got a little serious with the hair pulling once or twice, but that's really where it's supposed to be. But they're both pros, and they took care of each other on all the wrestling stuff, except for the fucking moonsault to the outside where, dude, does Charlotte ever hit it? How are you even supposed to? I mean, I know how you're supposed to. Like, you're supposed to catch them while they're coming down and their legs are kind of inverted, but everybody's waiting till she gets all the way over because they're, smaller frame girls without the muscle mass of or shoulder width to fucking actually have a target and hit something on. And they can't stop a human body that's 140 pounds coming at you with that much momentum. So it's destined to look bad 9 out of 10 times, man. So she barely grazes her, almost blows her knee out to do this spot that if there's 2 or 3 girls down there, okay. But doing it one-on-one, your chances of having somebody catch you are slim to none, and it looks like shit every time. So keep doing it. Charlotte Flair continue, and number 1 contender Liv Morgan will be in the house tonight too. There's no word on matches for tonight's Raw, but it's believed Veer Mahan may make his return to the Red Brand show after weeks of vignettes. Veer defeated John Morrison on main event last week in Morrison's final match. Yeah, man. Hey, Shanky was in the fucking battle royal. That's all that really matters, even though he got eliminated by Omos. I thought they did a great job at making Omos and protecting him. Just have him stay in the middle and beat the shit out of him, everybody, and eliminate dudes. But then the stupidest part was that it was every man for himself while guys are wearing Raw and SmackDown shirts. All the Raw, and they did a bit at the end where SmackDown guys try and get together when they're at a disadvantage 3-7, and to like, all right, let's get the Raw guys. And then the SmackDown guys turn on Sami Zayn, a SmackDown guy, and fucking he's gone. So that part of the story was stupid, in my opinion. But that was the added match, a 25-man battle royal out of nowhere to try and get guys a paycheck on the show. It makes me laugh because after, Stevie puts it over as the locker room winner, like a guy like Shelton Benjamin, who could fucking main event any show in the world if he really needed to, gets eliminated in 15 seconds, goes back, earns a paycheck, and then that's it. Yeah, I got to believe Shelton Benjamin's got to be up there for over 100 pay-per-view appearances as well, man. That guy's been on a fuck ton of shows for a long time. 16 years. But there was that time when they were off too. So I guess that would be tough to catch up to. But yeah, man, those battle royals, everybody worked safe and they got their stuff in. I couldn't believe when Otis with the pizza and all that shit that's sponsored by Pizza Hut, and that pizza looked fucking awful. But dude, he has to do the spots where they build the guy with all this heat, and then in the ring they do the comedy pizza spot with R-Truth, and he starts eating the pizza, and then they kills R-Truth, and then he gets dumped out too. All right, the guy's a big heater. Don't do comedy pizza spots that make us love him. That's number 1. And then number 2 is shit. That would suck having a big triple bite mouthful of pizza, and then you got to do like 4 or 5 spots and a fucking bump to the outside. Dude, the opportunity to choke is like almost 100%. Like, you're already blown up. You got to do this shit, and now you got to fucking kind of hold your breath and hopefully not have it shoot down your windpipe while you got to take a fucking clothesline shit can over the top rope to the floor. Fuck that. Like, I know it just seems like a small spot, but that could have been one of the hardest things that happened on the show last night. But they definitely made us love Otis for a minute and think about him back doing the, oh yeah, and I would have eaten Pizza Hut and all that shit. But did anybody see the guy in the audience that looked exactly like Montez Ford with the crown on and all that shit? He was doing cosplay. I thought, like, what is this guy doing in the fucking crowd? The dude looked just like him. But yeah, Survivor Series had good matches out of the gate. I thought the tag match, I heard, I only watched part of it. I was dozing in and out, on and off, or in and out, whatever, during the girls match, but I heard it was sloppy and botchy, and what else do you expect? Also, I think the scabs of production, where in the one story said they had the order completely backwards or what have you. I think there's a lot of people that have been replaced. I know they laid off about 35 production people in the last year, and we've got some amateurs, because even when guys were coming out in the Jeff Hardy match, which that was good, dude. Having Seth go over on Jeff was good heat, but I probably would have put Jeff up there for the pop, because he worked his ass off. But when Jeff came out, they had the fucking 3D hologram of Drew McIntyre's sword. So even punching the button for whose augmented reality fucking piece comes up in the sky as a 3D PNG with no background or whatever the fuck. Like, they're not even getting that right. So I think there's a big disconnect in the replacements, or people who had jobs that lost them and now somebody else has got to do their job and pick up the slack. That could be it too. I've heard a couple of people are working 2 and 3 gigs kind of WWE, compared to what they used to do, based on downsizing and budget cuts, because the old man needs $1 million egg, don't you know? So yeah, without Stan Stansky, there is no quality control. You know, I mean, what was he doing the last 16 years? I don't know, but it can only get worse. But I thought Survivor Series had enjoyable moments. The WrestleCrap made me laugh all the way around. And speaking of enjoyable moments, as we wrap up in here, I'm glad he can run in for the last here. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Dude, they literally had a whole pay-per-view around getting paid by a movie and a pizza company.
And Pizza Hut, right?
Not unbelievable, but I'm just shooting in here for a few minutes.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much done with the headlines, so I'm glad you can just come in and wrap it up, and we can move right on to SmackDown if you got time whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I just got to run the whole. I'll do SmackDown, and then we'll get all that Master Shoot out of the way, because I got to go run and get a bag of sand for this new boxing bag that I have.
Oh yeah, I'd put it on.
A couple of them.
Awesome.
So a lot more interesting than the pay-per-view. And then SmackDown. SmackDown was so forgettable. I had to rewatch the highlights after watching over the weekend.
I have the notes and I don't even remember what happened already.
Well, just to give a spoiler, when you see the New Day going over the bloodline, you know that Roman's winning Sunday. Every 5-year-old's going to know that.
Yeah, the predictability of the setups. Now I do recall that. I was like, well, you know who's going over on Sunday for sure. But you got to be, and I'm sure we're going to talk all about it on Master Shoot, you got to be impressed with this egg storyline from Red Notice. I mean, what, like the worst sketch we've seen ever, possibly?
You have, well, first of all, anybody that sells for the egg and Vince bringing the egg. Vince is appearing on a pay-per-view in how long? For the first time in how long? That's what he's doing. And then you got probably the most legitimate guy on your roster as far as pro wrestling is concerned, sitting across from you, and you're basically making a fake egg from a fake movie that's not even that good from what you told me. And
it's terrible.
So that was probably in exchange for the Biden-Harris thing. He had to do that too. That's like a 2-part, what you have to do in order to get the Black Adam or get the James Bond role. You got to do these things.
Yeah, right. You got to do the Tooth Fairy fucking gimmick in a tutu. I did think of you right away in the first sketch where in the office, because Roman sits down. What does Vince do? He showcases the egg.
But there was a belt squad in that box, not in. I'm really like, when I saw that, I was like, please let Russo like call him right now or text him. Like at this moment, if this is live, this would be amazing.
Yeah, this fucking sketch is brilliant. How about when he tells him to call the cops after it gets stolen and he's got a phone in his hand? But there was just weird stuff in there. Like his energy was so low. I really like what you're doing on Raw and SmackDown. You're firm but fair. I'm like, what are you mumbling about over there, bro?
Yeah, what happened to his voice? Used to be, I'm sure he didn't lose it, but it's just like a weird, I don't know. I think he's living in another reality. And when he like his face, like, that like shows the egg, and everybody's got to sell for the egg. Like,
Yeah. One thing I did pop huge for, I'll bring this up on Match. I don't know if you saw it. I might replay it and get us flagged or whatever. The limo rolls up and you think it's going to be The Rock getting out or whatever, but then they pan back and there's all the fucking who could possibly be fired next, like the cheerlead on, like, and cue the claps. But in the back, they're going, and I think it was Mace that started it, where they start the egg chant or whatever the fuck. But in the back, he's doing it. He goes, like,
oh,
this.
really?
It's so quick, bro. But he gets his fucking.
Do you think he's a listener or a watcher?
Gotta be, unless they're like, make sure you get your fucking claws over.
Well, don't do Bearcat. You got to offset.
Oh, he was out here. He was doing the Mace.
Bearcat.
He wasn't in here. He was full Mace, but he's got no face paint on, and he looks like how he was when he was an announcer, as a, you know, like, lovable fucking straight man, and instead he does the Mace thing. I was fucking dying, bro. I love that shit.
And that was the best part of Survivor Series for everybody that wants to watch it.
Oh shit. Anything else you want to bring up, Stevie, before we wrap up here? A little quick early one?
No, I never thought I'd watch a pay-per-view where you'd actually see time killers and recaps.
25 years of The Rock, no Rock. Like, why wouldn't they at the end, if Reigns is up, beauty shot, 1 minute cameo promo from The Rock, talking shit to him, and then put over something about the egg. I hope you enjoyed the egg, and then cut to McMahon. Oh, no, where's the egg? Like, why can't we get a 1 minute cameo from Dwayne to fucking button the show how it should have been?
You're in a very dangerous part of town, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. You're in a very dangerous area when you're showing the more over talent from past Survivor Series, when you showing the real stars, where we talked about on during Thunderdome, when you have Legends Night, when you have all this stuff, or you're showing a match from, like, we thought it was Hogan. Remember, what did we think it was? Hogan Andre? But it was the first, it was some word salad or wordplay with it. This is the match 25 years after or 40 years after. Like, what? I thought you were going to give us Hogan and Andre from WrestleMania 3.
And show it, experience, gather around and see wrestling. No, it's just a quick flash in the pan with some egregious shit that you won't even remember next 3 days from now. You won't.
This is what I want to say. Like, and this is not an insult, because it's the same thing with football to a certain extent. You can watch a football game without having to purposely try to figure anything out. The commentators explain it, but also the game is the game within the rules of football. So I can sit here and watch Red Zone and understand, okay, Red Zone's going to show me everything I want to see, big plays, touchdowns, turnovers, scores. Oh, I started over there for a second. But with wrestling, what we're talking about is, after the Survivor Series, we're sitting here trying to figure out what we were watching. That's not what wrestling's supposed to be.
Right.
It's supposed to be your reaction. And I don't know where they lost the translation into the lowest common denominator. Maybe they think because their shit is fucking written for the lowest common denominator, but it's not written for outside. It's not written outside of, like, where you have to do a lot of hard work to interpret what you're seeing. It's a weird best of both worlds scenario. Yeah, how much would Rock charge WWE for a cameo?
I don't know. They put it over on other shows and all that bullshit, man. But we're gonna get the Scooby-Doo mystery caper tonight on Raw. I mean, and more McMahon wrestle crap that we can. Maybe he won't show up though, and it'll just be Pierce doing investigations. It won't make that make for a gripping 3 hours of Raw.
Is this WWE Films? Red Nose?
Red Nose. But I don't think so. I think it's a Netflix thing, and they put it over as the number one. Dude, if you watched, I got to about 13 minutes, and I was like, this is the biggest pile of shit. And even to watch the highlights last night, or lowlights, it's just like so cookie cutter of every 80s, 90s. And this is a reboot of those action movies, the fight sequences, the shots, the fucking cheesy lines, the jokes. Like, it's just so bad all the way around, dude. And this is what we're selling for, you know?
It's literally like Ryan Reynolds is basically just Deadpool without the costume on. The Rock is the Rock in every movie. So he's become, these are two character actors trying to carry this over. And I see they're trying to make it like, if you want to see something that's really good, watch National Treasure, because that's what they're trying to.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be like, but it's a
but
D
not good.
Yes, yeah, dude. It's got all the budget and zero writing, and like all the money spent on, you know, everything from bullets and explosions to fucking hot cars and shutting down European cities to be able to shoot. But just the quality and how it's all put together is so fucking bad.
And Gal Gadot's in this too, the Wonder Woman lady, right?
Probably.
I'm just very interested because it's like these people to do the big blockbusters. Part of their movie deals is you got to do like 2 shitty movies.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely in a buddy cop pick, and you're probably doing something that effeminizes you as a man. Like, that's just what you gotta.
And Rock got he got the dress thing out of the way so early on with Get Shorty, I think, right?
And the Tooth Fairy.
That's true. Well, too. So he's going to be president. That's what that means.
Yeah, he'll be. And I think he played somebody's gay dad. Oh no, that was Nash. Played somebody's gay dad and something.
This is all great. This is all riveting stuff.
We're gonna wrap it up here because Stevie and I got to go back and look at our SmackDown notes to do the SmackDown review at Russo's brand. But I'm sure now that the Ag is in play, that Master Shoot Theater is going to be a hell of a listen this week. So we may do Master Shoot, and then it actually plays out on Raw later tonight, exactly like we improvised it.
Hey, by the way, somebody put in the chat, and I thought about it just now too. The Gobbledygooker will make an appearance on Raw tonight.
I thought it was going to be last night, but then Graves like wrapped it up with a little wink, egg joke. I thought at the end it'd be Vince with a big fucking spyglass walking around, and then you catch the Gooker running away with the fucking egg, and he's that goddamn egg.
The only way it would have worked out, like, and at least got a house show pop, is if the Gobbledygooker was Vince McMahon in the ring, and it was me all along, and he hit the line. It would have been.
It would have.
Why do they not do that? Like they think this, like, that's not even fun. Like, Vince thinks this is like a viral thing. This is like people are taking. This is like the scavenger hunt that like everybody never knew they needed in their life.
Yep. And then I know R-Truth had to do the pizza spot, but like, how about like he could have gone into Vince's office like, I'm gonna get it for you, boss, and then we have Super Sleuth doing a comedy thing where he's out there looking for it tonight and whatnot. But now it's just going to ruin the entire show with more wrestler crap. But that's what I'm all about, man. Oh, y'all infidels. That's we're going to wrap it up. Take it home here. Appreciate you joining us live. Twitch.tv/Hamin Media. And then BitHamin YouTube channel before I make this unlisted. So you can get it at channelattitude.com if you missed some of it. Go back, rewatch, re-listen, and subscribe. We appreciate all of those subscribers, all the interactors last night, all of our moderators in the Hamin Media discussion group who did the Pick'em challenge. I think I did pretty good last night on the Pick'em. I think I definitely won that I know I didn't win. Yeah, you guys are the best of the best wrestling fans wise being here at Hamin Media Group and Russo brand, because you're going to get that real talk, the real shoot. No star ratings, no bullshit. only that real talk. Stevie, how can they get in better shape coming up in the new year? Right, we got Thanksgiving.
I know.
Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Go to forceusa.com/Stevie and get your own home gym ready to rock. But he's over there throwing hands, man. So you never know. It might be Hacker versus Stevie in an exhibition boxing match in 2022. Somebody might book that. He's getting ready.
You'd win that one. I mean, I can hit the pads, but if they don't hit back, according to Ray, I'm going to take the left hook, which my answer was, so did Rocky. They can do that. Also, you can probably look at the price of turkeys at the supermarket. That'll probably put you on a diet right away.
That'll slow you down real quick if you can even afford the gas to get to the supermarket.
That's a good point.
Or you can order a Pizza Hut triple box. I mean, that's the best way to lose weight is slam some greasy za down you and wash it down with some sticky buns from from wherever they're fucking getting them from, Overstock. Who knows? I wouldn't go to Pizza Hut for my cinnamon rolls. That's just me. I go to Dippin' Donuts. But y'all, you guys, thank you so much. Cameo.com/Ben Hamin did a great one for Will Gobby, canceling birthdays, canceling your Thanksgiving, canceling Christmas. Get those promos in now and wear your ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin shirts if you want to piss off Aunt Karen at the dinner table at all your holiday meals, or if you want to get go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards and get a Kitty World Order shirt, because you guys supporting us is what allows us to get up every single day and face this wrestling tragedy here on the Monday Locker Room Infidels. Yalla.